MTSU, and so I did school there, and then I graduated, but I still had like a few months on my lease in Murfreesboro, so just had to find some stuff in Murfreesboro for a while, and then now I'm up here, so I can kind of broaden my horizons as far as, you know,
where to work
stuff. Yeah, but it's been cool so far. I'm really liking it up here.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably ask you more about that here in a little bit, but we'll go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nashville Artist. I'm Jordan, and today Jacob Cruz is here. Thank you for coming over and doing this.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
absolutely. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is
Georgia boy.
Yes, I'm a Georgia boy. It's like North Metro Atlanta area.
Okay.
So I guess it'd kind of be like, I don't know, kind of like Madison to Nashville, something like that, kind of like the north side. But I was born and raised in the Lawrenceville / Decula area, and grew up there, and then started college there, and then came up here for school at MTSU.
Started college in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go in Georgia?
I went to a place called Georgia Gwinnett College, which I think it started as a community college, but then they kind of transitioned into like a 4-year, and I did a couple of semesters over there for just my core classes, because it was honestly cheaper, you know, to stay at home and get like all my core stuff done, like all the maths and sciences and stuff out of the way, so I can just come up here and just start on the audio production stuff.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah.
That's what you were studying at MTSU?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So did you get like an audio engineering degree?
Yes, yeah. I have an audio production degree. I'm not a super active engineer. I prefer more of like the production aspect of it. I'm more of just like, oh yeah, like let's try this or let's do this, rather than pressing a bunch of buttons and moving faders and stuff. But I can do a little bit of both of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like to be the performance side.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool. It was a very cool experience. Got to meet a lot of really interesting people. So
at that Georgia school, or I mean, and then going to MTSU.
Yeah. No, Georgia school was, oh my gosh. So that college was like 5 minutes away from my high school. So I graduated high school, still lived at the same house, and just went to a different school like 5 minutes away with other people that I went to high school with. So I made like no new friends, and it was all like different. Like it was like math and music appreciation and science and all this stuff. So I never had like the same people in any of my classes. So I was just kind of a loner over there for a bit, and then it was when I like moved up here when I actually, you know, started making those like connections and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had to get out of like the monotony or just seeing the same people.
Yeah. It just, I mean, I love Georgia. It's a beautiful state, and the part that I was living in, it's a cool place. But I just got kind of bored of it.
Right. I feel that.
Yeah. It made me who I am though. So you know.
Yeah.
I have no regrets.
So, do you have any siblings?
Nope, I am an only child.
All your parents' attention on you.
Yeah.
Where did
My mom, my dad.
Are they also into music and art?
My dad is. My dad's kind of where I got like my like drumming interest from.
Oh, sick.
And my mom isn't very much inclined in music, but it's so funny. So for a good while, it was like in my house, it was me, my mom, my dad, and my aunt, and me and my dad and my aunt were all into music. Like my aunt's done like roadie work and management and like all that stuff in the music business, and then my dad's kind of done the same thing. And then my mom, like she's never done any kind of thing like music related, but she's the one that gets the job on Music Row. She's currently doing like insurance stuff for like famous high fidelity people in the music industry.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so she's her like office was like one of like Waylon Jennings' old houses or something like that.
Wow.
Like, so yeah, so she's the one that's really in the industry right now. But yeah, it's cool how that all works out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you say, is your dad a drummer?
Yeah. My dad plays drums. He he did it in school when he was growing up, and then played in a couple bands, stuff like that, and then he managed a band or two. So yeah, he's kind of the one that really got me interested in it.
What kind of music or drummers is he into?
He's really into like the classic rock stuff. He loves Led Zeppelin and like Rush and all that stuff. But yeah, he was kind of the one that really got me into that stuff with just rock music as a whole. I think the one artist, like the first artist that he kind of showed me that I really kind of gravitated towards was like Carlos Santana.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of stuff, and then like Kiss and Queen and all that, and just the loud, intricate guitar music and stuff. But and I loved all that, but the drums was like what I like gravitated towards the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So what were you like as a little kid?
I mean, I'd say I was a pretty good kid, pretty normal kid.
What were you into?
I was into drums a lot. My dad got me a toy kit when I was like a year old, and I like couldn't get myself off of it. So like drums specifically have been a part of my life, like essentially my whole life. But yeah, I was very into that. I was very into Hot Wheels cars and all kinds of different TV shows, cartoons, SpongeBob and Sesame Street and all those classics. And then I played baseball for like 6 years as a kid, because every boy's got to play some kind of sport. So that was the sport I got into, and I had fun up until I got hit, and then I was like, I don't really know if I like this.
Hit by the baseball?
Yeah. I was like, because I think it's up to, once you get up to like Pee Wee League is when they actually start letting the kids pitch, and it's not like T-ball or like the coach's pitch or anything. It's like there's another kid your age like throwing the ball as hard as they can at you, and I got like hit in the hand, and I was like, oh. But I did it for like a couple more years after that, and then I was like, yeah, music's more important. But yeah, I did that. I was a Boy Scout, like made it all the way to like actual Boy Scouts, did all the Cub Scout stuff, and then got to Boy Scouts, went on a couple camping trips, and I was like, I've seen it all, like, But yeah, music was definitely like number one since day one, like, and like specifically more like rock music and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you just say like when you first got into it was basically 1 year old.
Yeah. I mean, age 1 was when I kind of like got interested in drums, and then my dad got me this game. It was NASCAR Thunder 2004, and it was just like a racing game, and it had the coolest soundtrack ever. And I had my dad like burn it all on a CD, and I just like listened to it over and over again. It had like it had "I Hate Everything About You" by 3 Days Grace on it, and it had like Andrew WK and like 311, and just all the kind of more popular like hard rock and nu metal bands on it. And I fell in love with it, and I think that's what kind of sparked my interest into the more like heavier side. But yeah, a lot of games and other media is really what got me into like the more heavier, abrasive, alternative side of music.
Yeah, it's always the racing games that has like
that
shit.
Yeah. It was cool. I think like in pre-K, I did like a talent show to a motor grader song, and I was dressed up as Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was doing karate, but I didn't know how to do karate at the time, so it essentially just looked like moshing, like, because I was just doing spin kicks and stuff, but I didn't know how to do it. So I'm assuming it probably just looked like moshing, which is like kind of sick. And
dressed as Michelangelo.
Yeah, dressed as Michelangelo. Yeah.
Was he the orange turtle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was my favorite.
I think Leonardo was my favorite. The blue one with the swords.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you like play in school or?
Yeah, I started band class in middle school, and that's kind of where I learned how to read music. And I played percussion, and then moved into high school, did marching band for a couple years, and that was fun. But after my sophomore year, I was like, it's a little bit too much. I loved the games and going to the games and playing drums and all that stuff, but like the band camp and just being out there in like 90-degree heat for 3 hours, 3 days a week, playing the same music every day is just, I was like, nah, this is too much. But it was fun. And then I stayed in band throughout high school. I did like jazz band and concert band and stuff like that. And then I actually got into audio production in high school too, because my senior year, instead of band, I did this kind of like, it was kind of like a dual enrollment thing, but it wasn't at another college. It was at like a high school's tech school, and they had an audio production program. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And I did that my senior year, and that's kind of what got me interested in like NTSU and doing other audio production stuff, is like, a college career. So yeah.
Why would you, I mean, since you've done it your whole life, this might be hard to answer, but why would you say you're drawn to music and drums?
I'd say like it's really just kind of a very freeing and almost kind of like meditative experience. You kind of are able to create something by just hitting things, and I think that's cool. And you can you can change an entire like, you know, atmosphere or mood of a song just by the different patterns that you're playing. And I think that's super powerful. And just the fact that, like, you know, drums themselves are like the backbone of, you know, all music, or most music, I'd say. And you know, being able to, you know, kind of hold that foundation and you know, kind of tell a story through rhythm is pretty cool. So, and yeah, and I really just I've always wanted to be behind a kid, like on a stage or like in a studio, like ever since I could remember. Like I was like, that's what I want to do. So it's cool that I am actually, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What who are some of your favorite drummers?
Barker definitely is up there. I also like a lot of like jazz drummers and stuff like that. Like oh my gosh, no, his name is, I gotta look it up now because I can't forget. I want to say it's Tony Williams.
Oh yeah, Tony Williams.
Yeah, Tony Williams is incredible. And then I also like more of like the modern drummers too, like Joey Jordison from Slipknot, Chris Penny from the Dillinger Escape Plan, Neil Peart, obviously, John Bonham from Zeppelin. So probably like Alex Van Halen. He's incredible. I have a soft spot for Van Halen.
Yeah,
they're just like out of all of like the hair metal bands of like the 70s and 80s, like they were like by far the most talented, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were insane.
Yeah, dude. Alex Van Halen. Yeah, Tony Williams, amazing.
He's incredible. I found out about him fairly recently. I was watching some like What's in My Bag video on YouTube, and this guy picked out like a Tony Williams record, and he was just like, it's jazz fusion, but he's playing like kind of heavier and harder, and I'm like, that's cool. I want to check that out. And
beats the shit out of
yeah,
his ride cymbal patterns are insane.
Yeah, he's incredible. And then yeah, I've been trying to dabble more back into like the jazz stuff. I really like Miles Davis and the kind of like 50s to 70s jazz era is really cool. Just kind of like proto fusion into kind of like the fusion
Weather
eras.
Report.
Yeah.
Peter Erskine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Herbie Hancock, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Vinny Colaiuta.
Haven't heard that one.
He's the drummer, or he plays drums with Herbie.
Oh, cool.
Frank Zappa.
Oh, dope.
All the, yeah.
I'll have to check that one.
He's also a jazz drummer.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like gospel drumming too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Eric Moore is a big one. He's incredible. I watch his stuff on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, Eric Moore.
And Tony Royster Jr.
Oh yeah, dude.
I've never seen anyone do like faster singles ever. He's insane. But yeah, I like a whole plethora of stuff, man. I really try to not like limit myself on like the different like genres and styles that I listen to. I try to, you know, kind of encompass everything, because that's really, you know, that's where you can, you know, find new things and like influence yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Of all time, who are like some of your favorite bands and artists?
I'd say Title Fight is definitely up there for me. I fell in love with them when I was a tween, and as the years have gone by, they've just kind of started to resonate more and more with me. And then probably like Turnstile, they're a big one. Trying to think. Slipknot. I love Slipknot. I like a lot of, like, as far as the bands that I listen to the most, they're definitely under, kind of like the hardcore and metal ethos, because that's just, my favorite kind of music. I'm trying to think. So there's just so many. Dillinger Escape Plan is a big one. Nirvana. Title Fight's definitely like my number one though. Like I will listen to all their albums, like zero skips. Like and it never gets old.
What's their drummer's name?
Ben Russin, and I actually got to meet him. I never saw Title Fight because I was just a little bit too young to like actually go to those kind of shows, and so I missed them whenever they would come to Atlanta. But there was one time, like it was my first real band. Like my first actual band was like a cover band, so I don't count that. But yeah, my first real band, we were like essentially just a Title Fight like worship kind of band, and we covered their song Shed. And one night we were playing at this place in Atlanta called the Masquerade, and this was the old location where like all the stages were in one building.
It's like heaven.
Yeah, heaven, hell, purgatory. Yeah. And so we're in purgatory, and then across the hall is balance and composure and foxing. And so we play our set, and we covered Shed by Title Fight because we did that like almost like every set. Got done, and then we just walked over to Balance and Composure and got to see them like for free essentially because we were already in the venue. And that show was crazy, and like I'm out there doing like stage dives and stuff like that, and I see Ben Russin like at the side of the stage. I'm like, and so I go up and talk to him after the show, and I'm like, dude, you're one of like my favorite drummers and my favorite band ever. And he was like, dude, like appreciate that. And then I was telling him that I was in the other room. I planned a show of my own, and he was like, oh, were y'all the band that were covering Shed? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. And I had somebody tell me that they heard somebody covering Shed. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I got noticed. But yeah, so that was the closest I'd ever gotten to actually like seeing Title Fight or anything like that. But it was super cool to meet him.
Wow, that's cool. You got to meet when you were here.
Yeah, for real.
And he was really chill.
Oh, super chill guy. Title Fight, like they were really big like role models for me. Just not only just in music, but like just as people, like in a band. Cause sure, coffee break. But yeah, cause they like. They never had that kind of like, they never had a gimmick they were just 4 guys that all met in middle school and started a band and then just stayed in that band for their whole, run. And like they just looked like normal kids like me, and like, just t-shirts and shorts and just playing the music that they wanted to play. And it was just like their whole ethos was just very very interesting.
Like,
yeah, just no filter, just doing us. And they always found interesting ways to kind of stand out. Like they have one CD where like the case itself is like not a perfect square, like how the typical Jewel cases are. So if you ever like put it in like a rack, like a CD rack, it always sticks out. And then like they did a promo, or not a promo, but they did like a documentary of them making their album, and they put it out on VHS. And so you could only watch it if you had like a VHS player or something like that. And then they just did little things like that. They put like a little what's it called, like the little the flexi like discs, like 7 inches that were like made out of
floppy disks.
Yeah,
the square.
Yeah. They would put those in like a magazine for like promo for like 30p or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's like super cool. And like, yeah, it was just like 4 best friends that all like grew up together that made a band. And they weren't hardcore, like they were more on kind of like the emo and like almost kind of pop punk side, but they were kind of a part of that hardcore scene. Like they would play shows with hardcore bands, and they would go on tours with hardcore bands. And the hardcore kids were the ones that were like actually like buying the stuff and going to the shows and going all crazy on stage and stage diving and all that stuff. And I just thought that was cool, because even though they didn't sonically have that hardcore sound, they were still a part of that like hardcore ethos. And I thought that was like super cool. And I wanted to be just like them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did they start like in the early 2000s? Or?
Yeah, they formed in like 2003 when they were in like middle school, but they actually started kind of taking it serious and putting out records and stuff. I want to say in like 2008 or 2009. They were in like high school, and then their debut LP I think came out in like, I think it was like 2009 or 2010, and they were all like 1920, and they were 1920 recording with Will Yip, who's like a super renowned producer. And then they were working with Walter Schreifels, who's the guy from he's in Quicksand, and I forget if he did anything with Gorilla Biscuits. I want to say he was in Gorilla Biscuits too, but like just super influential like hardcore guy. And like just it was super cool just to see that. And my friends from back home got to see them, but I never did. So they would always kind of hold that over my head, like, oh yeah, we saw Title Fight and you didn't.
Awesome. That's really cool. I don't know much about Title Fight, so I'm gonna just study up.
Oh yeah, actually, this was my first tattoo. I got their logo on my arm, so I'm a big fan, super fan. But try not to fangirl too hard over them.
Hey, but it's cool.
They're the goats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, how would you say you develop your drumming or artistic skills now? Like, do you have routines or?
I guess I've always just kind of had the same routine because I've always just kind of learned stuff by ear, and when I learn a new song for my bands and stuff like that, I'll they will make a demo and then they'll send that to me, and then I'll just learn that just by playing along to it. I've never been super honed in on like theory and sheet music and stuff, even though I can read sheet music and tabs and all that stuff. I find it more easier for me just to have it playing in some headphones and just get behind the kit and practice it, and just kind of I'll start with like the intro, and once I get that note for note, then I'll go on to the verse or the chorus, or just see how far I can go until I like mess up, and then just kind of lock all that down, and then just keep going until the end of the song. But yeah, it's always mainly just been by ear.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
By ear. So like, do you have like a warm up routine or anything?
Not really. I'll kind of shake the wrists out, get them all warmed up, and drink a lot of water, and just kind of try to find sometimes, depending on my anxiety levels, might find a quiet spot for a second, just kind of just breathe and meditate for a little bit before going out and playing shows and stuff. But as of late, I've been getting a lot more comfortable with just the scene over here and of the venues and stuff, and being behind the kit on these stages and stuff. So it's been cool, and I'm doing touring and stuff now, so it's I'm getting more honed in with that. But yeah, mainly just kind of tapping on my legs and just kind of shaking out my wrists and stuff, and just kind of getting all pumped up.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Do you ever like practice with a metronome? Or?
Yeah. I've got like a metronome app, and I'll have that in my headphones and stuff, or I'll plug into my computer and get on like a GarageBand and stuff. Just have a loop going, and just try and lock in the fills in the pocket and stuff like that. But
that's really cool. Like pulling up GarageBand and like creating like a melody phrase, and then you just jam along to it.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes, or just have a loop of the click, not even like anything playing. Or there's a guy, his name's Tim Baltz, I think is how you say his last name, but he's got like hours of like free loops on Bandcamp and stuff like that, and they all have like the BPM next to them, and so sometimes I'll just I'll download a couple of those, stick them in GarageBand, and just play, and they're all like 10-minute loops or something like that, and so you can just play to it as much as you want, and those are pretty fun. But yeah, mainly I'll just I'll play to just whatever song I want to learn, or my band stuff, or
nice.
Something like that. Yeah.
What would you say has been like the most difficult thing you've tried to practice or learn lately?
The new circuit stuff is pretty difficult, but I really love that band, and like playing in that band, just because like I feel like that music kind of pushes me to my limits of what I think I can do, and then I practice it and I'm like, okay, I can do this. But yeah, we have a new song that we've been playing recently, and now I'm kind of locked in with it. But learning it was a bit of a challenge, and I set it aside for quite a while, and then it got to a point where my band was like, "Fucking learn it." So I was like, "Okay." So I'd sit a couple hours aside and just really get it like note for note until I had the whole thing. But yeah, because as a drummer, as a rhythm person, 4/4 just feels natural. It feels right. But when you're going from 4/4 to, or 6/8 to 4/4 to 7/8 back to 4/4 to one bar of 2/4, and then back to whatever, it's like you gotta. And me not really being much of a sheet music or theory person, it really is just like the ear training and stuff. I kind of have to really grasp a feel of the structure, but so far they haven't written any parts for me yet that I'm like, I can't do this. So that's good. But I've definitely been challenged by my band, and I like it. It's good to kind of have that kind of I'll try it. We'll see how it goes, and then eventually getting it, and ultimately, I mean, that just gets my chops sharper. So
yeah.
It's nice. It's fun.
Being at the edge of your abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So
you play in Circuit, Blemish, and then Article 5?
Yep. Yes, sir.
How long have you been in each one of those bands?
So Circuit started in, I'd say, like the end of 2019, 2020. I met the guys in Circuit at the beginning of 2020 when I moved to Murfreesboro, and they were still just kind of like in the writing stage of the first EP, and then COVID happened, and I went home for a bit, and then I would come back, and then that's when we actually started to really practice and learn the songs. So that was probably like the end of 2020 into 2021 is when we like really kind of started to play together as a unit. And then Blemish was actually the first Nashville band that I ever saw. Like after moving here, I went to a show at Dark Matter. It was this band called Slow Crush that I was into. They're like a shoegaze band from like Belgium, and Blemish was opening that show up, and I saw them. I was like, yeah, that band's pretty sick. And then I saw their last show that they had before I hopped on board, which I don't know if they talked about that, but I won't say too much about it. It was a moment, I'll say that. It was, yeah. But and then COVID happened, and then I came back up, and Nick gave me a shout on IG and was like, yo, you want to get like a drink or something and talk about band stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, you want to play drums for Blemish? And I was like, sure, why not? So because I've always been into that like more new metal side of stuff. So that whole sound was completely up my alley. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally do that. So that was probably like the middle of like 2021, something like that. And then Article 5 started up, I want to say last year or maybe the beginning of this year, and it was originally just Mark from Vital Part and Colin from Rules of Engagement, just doing their own thing, and they were like, yo, let's play some shows. And so they did their first show, and then after that they hit me up asking if I wanted to be on drums. So started doing that, I want to say earlier this summer, and it's been really cool. And that's just just straight up just beat down caveman riff hardcore stuff, which is always fun. We had my first show with him was in Murfreesboro, and we pissed off this one guy so much because all of our friends pulled up and were moshing really crazy, and he didn't like that, so he decided to shut down his house venue that he was running. So it's that set is kind of known as the set where we shut down a completely different venue from the one that we were playing at, which was just, yeah, it was a moment for sure.
Moshing in a house.
Well, our set was actually like at a venue. We were at the Graveyard Gallery, and yeah, all of our friends pulled up to that, and they were going crazy. No one got hurt or anything. They just they like to do all the fucking like karate in the pit and shit like that. And a couple of the punks over there, they're not really into that, so they got offended. And one guy ran like a house venue over there in Murph and was like, I can't do this anymore, so he just shut down his own video. I was like, okay, bro, like whatever. But that was fun. And then we had our last show at the end with Gum and Dogpile and Lethal Method, who's a new Nashville hardcore band that Nick is in. And yeah, that was a really fun show. And then our next show, we're playing at a dab bar.
Oh, really?
And I guess it's technically Antioch. It's on it's off of like Nolensville Pike or something like that. It's like right down the street from me. But yeah, we're playing at this dab bar, and the stage, it's just a platform. It's honestly just gonna fit like the drums maybe and like one amp, but the back, like the wall behind it is like a mural of like Snoop Dogg and Seth Rogen. And yeah, we're excited for that one. That's gonna be November. But yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with those bands. It's a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Article 5 is hardcore.
Yeah.
And then what would you, like, genre-wise, describe Circuit Circuit?
I would say Circuit, if you kind of know the term, I would say sasscore. If that's kind of a foreign term, I would just say like chaotic hardcore. And because it's hardcore with tinges of punk, but also it's a little sassy. We like to have a little bit of fun with it, and it's less moshy and more dancey, if that makes sense. But yeah, we're pretty heavily influenced by those bands from the 2000s, like Blood Brothers and At the Drive-In and Dillinger Escape Plan, but then also bands like Kin Mode and Fear Before the March of Flames, and just those bands that, you know, you'd see them on TV and stuff, and they're like, you know, in the tight t-shirts and the skinny bootcut jeans and the floppy hair and stuff, and they're just, you know, doing all these crazy poses and stuff, and just playing weird, insane, hardcore punk music.
And then Blemish, you said it was like new metalish?
Yeah, I'd say new metal, more of that realm. Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy just that, you know, alternative side of heavy music.
Yeah.
I love, you know, just, you know, the metalcore stuff and all the others that are, you know, more mainstream and popular, but it's that more kind of niche side where it just really fires off the endorphins.
Yeah. It's good to like have like genres that you like to put yourself in, and then just like maximizing your abilities to play that.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes you can be like, I should learn all this different stuff, and it's like you can, but like it's cool when you can go in on one or two or three.
Yeah.
Cool. So what would you say inspires your creativity?
I'd say, like, you know, being, you know, a member of Gen Z in the year of our Lord 2023, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, just kind of, you know, aren't the best, and, you know, can kind of piss you off, you know. And being a drummer, you know, I'm able to, you know, take that, you know, rage and frustration and, you know, take it out on my drum kit and, you know, make something cool out of it. And that's a big thing. And you know, just again, you know, just having that ability to, you know, create a story through, you know, beats and rhythms, and just, you know, playing around with, you know, different styles is always, you know, it's super fun. But you know, I'm really, you know, I'm pretty easygoing, and so, you know, if someone tells me like, hey, you want to play this, or, you know, I have this written, like, can you play this? I'll just be like, yeah. And, you know, I've recently, you know, just been more of, you know, having someone write something for me, and then I take it and I put my own spin on it. And so I like when, you know, I'm given something and then I'm able to, you know, just expand on that and put my own kind of style onto it. Because, you know, with and that kind of really started with, you know, band in high school and marching band and stuff, because I played drum kit in marching band. So I was the only one that, you know, actually had, you know, a traditional drum kit and got to sit down and, you know, do all that. And I would be given the sheet music by my band director, and he's just like, you know, here's all the specific cues, but on the rest of this stuff, you know, you just do whatever you want. And I really like that kind of, you know, method of, you know, just being given something and then just kind of being told, you know, go wherever you want with it.
Having the structure and then being able to play with it.
Yeah.
Nice. What would you say are your strengths and weaknesses as an artist?
I'd say, you know, I'm really good with, you know, just like improvising and just kind of finding something that fits as far as, you know, beats and patterns and stuff. I'd say as far as weaknesses go, I'm always trying to work on my speed, especially with like the double kick stuff, and I see all these guys and they're just just going crazy with it. And, I'm trying to build that up a little bit more, but also just kind of I'm really trying to build up my ability to play odd timing stuff and stuff that really isn't just like traditional, and it's a challenge, but I feel like the more I practice it, the better I get at it. But that was definitely a weak point for me, getting started with circuit, because all the bands and stuff that I had before that, it was just kind of straight 4/4, and they would let me write whatever kind of drum part that I had. And with circuit, that was the kind of first experience of me getting handed the written drum part, and then just kind of expanding on that, and then it also having the different time signatures and polyrhythms and all that fancy scientifical stuff.
The cerebral parts of drumming, the real heady stuff.
Yeah,
odd time signatures. Now it was like back in the day 7/4. Oh shit!
Holy shit!
Now it's like 5/8 plus 4/4 plus 3/8 plus, and then
12/8.
Yeah, making a chain of all these different time signatures and different meters.
Yeah. It's some crazy shit that people are coming up with today, but I'm really digging it, and I do really find it to be a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
It strengthens your inner clock.
Yeah, for real.
Because you're like, oh, it can go this way, and it can be sharpened this way. Yeah. I love to work on odd time signatures. I'm not the best at them either, but it's a fun challenge. And it makes you play things you wouldn't normally think to play, because you have to be a little bit more angular. So your phrases either become more elongated or very short. It's really cool. So, how would you best describe the type of artist you are?
It's a good question. Probably say like I'm quite adaptable, and because the kind of dream job that I'm looking for is just to be the guy who people ask to hop on drums for this tour or hop on drums for this record and stuff like that, and it really doesn't matter what genre it is. It can be rock, it can be hardcore, it can be country, it can be pop, it can be jazz, it can be whatever, and I want to be the guy that people point to and be like, yo, he can do it. So I'd like to say I'm pretty adaptable, and I try to just kind of keep an open mind about that kind of stuff, because that's really at the end of the day, that's all I want to do is just play music and make music. So yeah,
that's awesome. Doesn't matter the scenario, you're just
I'm just here for a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in Nashville since 2020?
Yeah, a few years.
Like, what, I guess, music brought you here? Is that?
Well, I started playing in the more like alternative bands in like 2015 in high school and stuff like that, and I got into, the hardcore scene in Atlanta around, the end of high school, like early college. And so, like I found that, and I wanted to, find that here and get myself integrated into that here, because I really liked just the environment of the hardcore community, and also I already had friends up here, and friends that I had played in bands with, or band with, up here that went to MTSU, so I already kind of had, a few connections into the music scene up here, which was cool. But yeah, I really didn't know. I really had no idea what I was gonna be doing after I got up here. I just kind of knew. I just kind of felt that I was gonna, find my people and my band up here. And I mean, I love all the people that I shared the stage with back home, but I kind of just knew that I would find, my sound up here. And yeah, it's really cool to say that I've found that. So yeah,
that's awesome. So 3 years about that.
Yeah,
awesome. What have you learned living here?
I've learned that, you really just gotta, go with the flow as far as, traffic and shit. Oh my God, the traffic here is crazy. But, you get there when you get there. And, just let people be idiots. But, I really feel like I've been welcomed with open arms here as far as, the scene and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it being Nashville, the music scene is very competitive. But, I feel like everybody's, been super welcoming to me and my bands since, being out and about. But yeah, it's cool because, starting out in like the DIY scene and the hardcore scene in Atlanta, there were those people that, have always kind of, been down with you since day one and stuff. But then, being, a kid, 18, 19 years old, trying to get into the hardcore scene where it's, all these, mid to upper 20s guys that, think that you're some poser, it was a little bit harder to, get like integrated into. But I earned my stripes with that scene, and then brought that up into this scene, and people kind of I feel like people kind of already saw with me and my bands that we're not here for to be popular or to do anything like that. We're here to just play music and share that with other people. So it's been really cool just seeing the kind of reception that we've had. And I've also just I've learned to just kind of, again, just like keep an open mind about stuff, because you never really know what kind of doors or opportunities are gonna show themselves to you, especially up here, especially in music and stuff like that. There's always new people doing new things, new artists coming out, people just trying new things and finding new things, and it's really cool. it's really just like a melting pot of, you know, music up here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to play?
I'd probably say the End. The End is, you know, legendary, man. I love the sound in there. I love the atmosphere. Sure.
Yeah, the End, dude.
Shout out Bruce, the GOAT. Dark Matter is also very cool. A cool spot. I feel like, I mean, that was the first place I'd ever gone to, as far as, you know, like a local venue. So that was, you know, kind of my introduction into, you know, the scene over here, and those guys over there gave us a lot of cool opportunities. I still have yet to really get an experience in the Exit Inn. I've only been to like one show there, and that was back when they had their old management and stuff. Now they're bought out by, you know, whoever.
It's like Live Nation.
Live Nation, yeah. All this shit's, you know, owned by corporations now. It's, you know, it's kind of a bummer to see, but, you know, I mean, it's also, you know, still good to see that, you know, it's not dead. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
At least they're keeping it alive or whatever. But yeah, but the End is definitely, you know, my favorite spot. I always feel, you know, at home when I'm playing there, and, you know, it was always a good time. I never, you know, really had a bad moment over there.
It's really made a comeback in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, oh, it's across from Exit Inn, it's not as good or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that, like, we really see what happened to Exit Inn, and the End is like, they've kept their, you know, their name strong.
Yeah, they really have.
It really helped the local scene.
Mm-hmm.
And all the crazy people that have played, I mean, all the famous bands that have played there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just going in there and looking at all the names on the wall and shit, like, it's really cool.
Being on the same stage as them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I realized, so that's where Circuit had our first show, and we realized that that's also where Paramore had their first show, was at the End.
Wow.
And apparently Paramore had a secret show there, like not too long before our first show there. So we're like, man, we're sharing the stage with Paramore. That's so dope. But yeah, man, I really love that spot. I wish there were more spots like that around here. Just, you know, more like intimate, but still, you know, the full venue kind of feel. Because I feel like that's really that and Dark Matter are really like the only ones that, you know, kind of are smaller and intimate, but like they're still a venue, you know, and the rest of them, you know, are rather big, or, you know, you're playing at someone's house or something like that, which, you know, no shade to that, but, you know, I like having my kit mic'd and, you know, having a monitor to hear everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I love both those venues too. Have you ever been to the East Room?
Oh yeah. I've been there too. I've played there once, and that was cool. Their house kit is dope because it's like wrapped in like a floral print, and I got to play there with my roommate Chaz, who has it's like a bedroom indie pop solo project, and sometimes we'll get like a full band together and play some shows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What would you say is some advice you'd give to someone who's going to move here and pursue art, music?
I'd say definitely, I mean, go to shows. Like, go to shows, meet people, and, you know, talk talk to the bands, and just like, yeah, because I mean, here in Nashville, there's everything, man. Like, you can find your style. Like, there's quite literally everything here, and so just kind of find pages like Nashville Show ToGo and all that stuff where they're posting all these different shows and stuff that are going on during the week, and just go and check it out and meet people, and find who's the promoter, and who's kind of pulling the strings as far as the shows and stuff go, and get in touch with them, and be like, hey, here's my stuff, here's what I sound like, and then when someone comes to town and they're looking for locals, I can be like, oh yeah, who's that guy that talked to me at this show that has this kind of style or whatever, and then they can put you on their show, and you find your exposure, find your crowd. But yeah, that's the big thing. It's just go to shows, check it out, and just really start making those connections, because that's really how you kind of get moving around here.
Right.
And social media, honestly, I mean, as much as it sucks, it is a really important tool at the same time, with finding people in your scene, and getting connected with those kinds of people, especially like promoters and venues and stuff.
Right. Yeah, it is really helpful when you can get a glimpse, a taste of what kind of person or what kind of artist they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is our little resume for every person.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we're glued to it, and as toxic as it can be sometimes, I still find myself remembering how much of a important tool it is.
Yeah.
But I am still trying to kind of wean myself off of it, trying to decrease my screen time some more.
For sure. I think we all can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So reflecting back on when you started as an artist, what were some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome them?
I'd say I'd say a big one is learning how to say no to certain things, or just you don't have to there's certain hurdles that you don't have to jump over sometimes, and I mean, you do kind of have to learn things the hard way, obviously, but just kind of learning from those past experiences is a good thing. Just kind of reflecting on everything, because there's been times where starting out as like a local band, you take up every show offer and everything, like everything that you can get, and it gets to a point where you'll have a small handful of good shows, and then another handful of okay or bad shows. And I feel like it's really important to sometimes just kind of space it out, and you don't have to say yes to everything. And then also just yeah, I just say just it's hard, because sometimes you don't want to let anyone down, you don't want to disappoint somebody, but when your gut is telling you like, hey, this might not be a good idea, it's probably right. And when something something seems sketchy, it typically is. But I've definitely learned just kind of over the years of playing that, you know, you really gotta, you know, choose your battles.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's so many stories, man. The one that, you know, kind of comes up, my first band ever, we were a band called Royster Jr, and it was our second show ever, second real show. Like, our first show was like our friend's birthday party in her basement or whatever, so we don't really count that as like the first show. But we had our first show and it went super well, and we had a bunch of people roll out and stuff. It was a blast. And then that venue, like the next month, contacted us and they're like, hey, we had a band drop, would y'all like to headline this show? And we're like, headline? Hell yeah, dude. Like, yeah, we'll do it. We don't know, you know, anything else about any of the other bands, or didn't know much about this venue because we had only played there like once. And we get there, it's the middle of July in Georgia, humid as hell, hot as hell, AC's not working, bathrooms aren't working, and they had this thing, it was like a pay to play thing. So it was like, you have to sell like the first 10 tickets and then you started making money after that. So it was like, you had to sell $50, and then after that first 50, then you could start making money. But we didn't even sell $50 worth of tickets, so we didn't make any money off of it. And then they said that they were going to feed us, but they only fed us like fruit salad, and it was ridiculous. And then we played with these two touring bands, and one of them, this guy, the guitarist, he's wearing like all black, like black skinny jeans, black shirt, black beanie in this hot venue in Georgia. And I don't even know what he's on, but he's all stumbling and fumbling playing his guitar, and then just projectile vomits like everywhere. And it's just me and like 10 of my friends, and we're all just like, and I mean, it was traumatizing, like, for real, because I was not, I did not have a strong stomach at the time, so I was just like, and it was just, after that, it was a terrible, I had like, I played the set like twice as fast, because all I wanted to do was just go home and like take an Alka-Seltzer and like just rest. It was so ridiculous. And then just like, you know, it was ridiculous. And then, you know, fast forward, you know, we started with Circuit, and, you know, it started more as like the, you know, the local band thing. So we would, you know, just kind of take like, you know, whatever offer we could get. But now that we're doing more regional stuff, we're kind of less of a local band. And so, you know, certain venues and certain spots, you know, like, we'll only really play if, you know, we know these people, or, you know, stuff like that. Because, you know, sometimes you'll get an offer for, you know, this bill, and it's just all these bands that are just like, it's not the vibe at all, and we'd just rather not be there. And so it's not really, you know, a diss to anyone. It's just, you know, it's not our thing.
Right.
So learning how to, you know, just kind of not say yes to anything was a big challenge, but one that, you know, we've been working on a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest personal growth from last year to this year?
Personally, man, I just I've really learned how to, kind of put myself first in just a personal aspect. Man, I really, because learning how to say no and not being a yes person, like as a band, but also just as a person, has been a huge challenge for me, especially over these past couple of years. And I've really through friendships and relationships and stuff, I've found myself really not living for myself, living for other people, and it really just kind of tore me down. And I didn't really feel good about myself, or I didn't feel like I was where I was supposed to be. And so when I finally kind of had that moment where I was like, it's okay to say no and to be my own person, do what I want to do. That really kind of made me feel just a little bit lighter on my toes, just choosing to kind of wean off substances and take time to go to the gym or go on a walk, or just have Jacob time. It was super important because for the longest I hated being by myself. I hated being alone and just doing things on my own, even though as an only child I've always kind of been used to that. But I felt at certain points I had to be with someone, or else all the thoughts would start racing, and they wouldn't go to a good place. But I feel like as of recent, I'm more comfortable with just doing things on my own and doing things for me, which has been super cool. And it's always going to be something that I deal with. But I feel like I've taken a lot of steps in the right direction as far as that goes, and really just focusing in on my truths, and where the universe wants me to go. So it's been a cool journey.
Yeah. Very powerful stuff. And it's okay to do what you want to do. If someone doesn't like it, that doesn't mean you have to change.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge thing that I've had to learn, because I've especially with like relationships and stuff like that, it's so easy to just change for this one person's attention or affection and stuff, but then you realize someone who really who really is interested in you is going to be interested for you, not this person that you're trying to be for someone else. Right. So yeah, that's been a big thing for me.
Definitely. That's awesome. So, kind of changing subjects here, how do you consume media? Do you watch a lot of YouTube, or?
Yeah, YouTube and TikTok, Instagram is, those are the kind of the big three for me. But
what do you watch on YouTube, or what do you like to watch?
I watch a lot of Good Mythical Morning. I am a mythical beast for sure, but I'm not like subscribed to anyone's Patreon or anything like that. But I watch a lot of them. I listen to a podcast too, Hard Lore Stories from Tour, which is a favorite of mine, Blowback, which is it's more of like a history podcast talking about like wars and stuff like that, specifically ones that like America has been involved in with, like, you know, they did one with like Cuba and the whole like Cuban Missile Crisis stuff, and then they've done one on the Iraq War and stuff like that, and then they're doing one right now about 9/11 and our whole involvement in the Middle East post 9/11, and so that's cool. And then there's another music related podcast, but it's more just like two dudes just like shooting the shit. It's called Quit Your Band While You Still Can, and it's Taylor and Jake from Super Heaven, and they just kind of just talk about random shit, and they're super funny. But yeah, and Spotify is, you know, my main for all of my audio media consumption.
Right.
Yeah, because I got the I had the, you know, the student deal where it was like, you know, you get Hulu and Spotify for like $5 a month.
Yeah.
That super clutch.
I got that back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is amazing. And now they're like, we're raising it to $10.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Whatever,
Like, dude,
sure.
Whatever. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of reward I get from the app.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like outweighs the price.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then I watch a lot of pro wrestling, so I'm a cable consumer as far as that goes.
Pro wrestling, as in like WCW or like.
Yeah, WWE and like AEW, stuff like that. I love it. I'm super into all the different storylines and all that kind of stuff, and then also like the real world drama that goes in with that. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. It's like violent theater. I like to explain to people like that. It's like, man, it's like, because I mean, it's a whole like board of directors that are writing all these storylines, and then you got the wrestlers, and they're doing these like super intricate moves that look cool but are also like trying to like protect one another. But, you know, a good wrestler, you know, is like, you know, protecting themselves and the other wrestler while also still making it look cool. And then just all the stuff that goes on like backstage and stuff. I think it's super cool. And, you know, there's some really interesting storylines going on right now in both companies. And then, you know, I'll dabble with stuff that, you know, goes on in like Japan and stuff like that. And the stuff in Japan is, you know, less storyline based and more just talent. Like, these guys are just fucking crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's fun. That's definitely my my show of choice as far as, you know,
What
TV. It's just all pro wrestling shows.
Nice. Do you have like a favorite wrestler right now, or someone who's like really good at the tricks and?
Yeah, my favorite probably in WWE right now would probably be like I mean, I really like the whole storyline that's going on with like Roman Reigns and the Usos. Basically, it's like the bloodline is kind of like the moniker for it, but The Rock and like his family, they're all through as the WWE. There's so many members of like his bloodline that have, you know, done a bunch of crazy stuff in the wrestling world. And Roman Reigns is kind of like just the top guy in WWE right now. He's like the undisputed champion. He's been champion for like over 1,000 days. Like, super prolific guy, and his stuff is just it's really good. It's really fun to watch. And then in AEW, I probably have to say like their product is probably the favorite. I like their stuff a little bit more because it's more like the stuff that I watched back in like the 2000s as a kid, because it was more like, you know, rated TV 14 stuff. There's more blood and, you know, chairs and ladders and barbed wire and all that crazy shit. But I'd say MJF is a big one. He's the current champion over there, and he really is the top guy. And he's always been built up as a heel who's like the bad guy in the wrestling world. Like, you have your faces and you have your heels. The heels are the bad guys, faces are the good guys. And he's always been brought up as a heel, and now he's kind of in his like face run, so he's still kind of a scumbag is kind of how he likes to call himself, but like the crowd loves him, and you know he's just super he's super funny, and he's got a great character, but yeah, he's done some really cool work. And then like there's a whole bunch of like real world drama and shit with CM Punk, who he's actually the one, you know, that got me into, you know, like straight edge and all that stuff, because he was, you know, the first guy that I ever saw that was like, that was his gimmick. It's like, I'm straight edge and I'm better than you. Like, it's kind of badass, dude. Like, but yeah, he apparently is like just been terrible to work with recently, and he's been fired from the same company like twice now. And there's just been a whole lot of like, you know, backstage drama with him and other wrestlers and stuff, and just people just don't seem to like working with him. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of, you know, real world drama that goes in with that too, that I've just been super invested with over the years.
Wow. Yeah. It is. Have you ever seen the movie The Wrestler?
With Mickey Rourke? I've seen clips, but I've never seen the whole thing.
Great movie, but yeah, it just reminds me of that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
because you have
extremely close.
The backside of it,
mm-hmm.
You know, like what goes on, like why they're not on the mat, and why they're not training.
Yeah.
That whole life.
Yeah, there's another movie that I want to see that it's more like a biopic about this one like wrestling family from back in the day, the Von Erichs.
The Von Erichs.
It's like the family name. I forget the name of like the movie or the show or whatever, but it's got Zac Efron in it.
Oh, nice.
And it looks pretty cool. I think it's like an A24 film, so it should be pretty good.
Cool.
But
what's it called again?
I forget the name, but like the family that it's about is the Von Erich family. But yeah, it's super cool, and they were kind of, you know, some of the pioneers of, you know, modern, you know, technical wrestling and stuff like that in the pro wrestling world. They were huge back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like what, like 70s, 80s?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Nice. Well, is there anything you'd like to add that I might not have asked you about?
No, not that I can think of. But dude, this has been super fun. This is not my first podcast that I've done. I've done a couple before, but this has been the first, you know, kind of like, you know, established podcast that I've been a part of, because, you know, all the others is, you know, it's just my friends like, oh yeah, I'm starting a podcast, and then we do like one episode, and that's it. It's like just kind of a one and done kind of thing. But no, I listened to the one with Nick and Cole, and check out the other ones, and I'm really liking what you're doing, and I think it's cool that you're doing this, just talking to like other people from around the area and getting to kind of know them, both on like a musical and a personal level. I think that's always just such a cool thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Oh yeah, likewise.
I've got one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is something absurd you love or do?
Something absurd. I don't know. I really love like just the stupid Adult Swim like shows and stuff. Like there's one show called Xavier Renegade Angel, and it's like just the type of shit that would like come on at like 3 a.m. on Adult Swim, and you're just like, what the hell is this?
Xavier what?
Xavier Renegade Angel.
Wow.
is the name of the show, and it's like the main character is this like, it's like a cross between like, I don't know, like a Sasquatch, a snake, and a bird. And he's got like horse legs, so like his knees are like bent backwards, and he's got like a snake for a left arm, and then like just like a bunch of nipples, and then like a beak for a mouth, and he's supposed to be this like weird native creature, and it's all animated like a video game or something. Like, it's stupid. It's so stupid, but I love that kind of shit. I also love just like absurd comedy. Like, I Think You Should Leave.
Oh yeah, dude.
I love that show.
I love that show too.
It's so good. My roommates and I would just quote it just every day, because there's so many things that you can tie certain bits to. It's so good.
Definitely won't let this thing in the house.
Oh crap! A bunch more bad stuff just happened. Or just
he's like when you want to like, he's like, when you're happy about dying so you don't have to go to work, that's when you know life is fucked.
This whole world's so fucking fucked up. There's so many, man. I love it. I watched that whole series, every single episode on Christmas Eve one night, because I just like couldn't sleep. I was so excited for Christmas. Yeah. So I just like watched the whole thing. And yeah, no, I love that shit.
It's like Gary Palm the Depp.
I'm gonna marry you, Gary. Yeah, no, it's so good. But yeah, that's probably the most absurd thing. I'm a pretty normal guy. I don't really do too much out of the ordinary, I'd say. I mean, sometimes telling people I watch WWE and all that kind of shit, they're like, really? Yeah, dude, shit rocks. But no, I just, I like music. I like absurd music. I like just all kinds of crazy shit. But I put my socks on, 1 foot at a time. So I don't think I really do anything absurd as far as just my daily life. I just get up, go to work, play shows on the weekends sometimes. That's about it. I'm a chiller.
Awesome.
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, likewise.
Absolutely.